Hello and welcome to another wonderful episode of Iron Port, the program that has been specifically designed to bring Ghana's ports and maritime industry closer to you. It is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Goyle PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link, Meridian Port Services, and Phoenix Insurance. The program is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and our media partner is the Business and Financial Times. We know a lot of you who watch this program either work in the maritime industry, are affiliated with this industry, or you're just interested in this sector. And a lot of you can relate when I say that it was not by original design that some of us found ourselves here, but we've had to stay here and learn on the job. Our guest for this week's Iron Port, the Chief Executive Officer of West Africa School of Shipping, Gertrude Ohenye-Sienin, said that is okay and there is nothing wrong with this particular situation. However, maritime professionals must commit to continuous professional development in order to stay abreast and keep up with modern trends and stay relevant in this industry. The upcoming piece will be a story which will follow with a studio discussion. Take a listen.
Maritime professionals and organizations are being encouraged to partake in continuous professional development programs in order to stay up to date with modern trends and happenings in the ever-dynamic maritime arena. According to the Chief Executive Officer of the West Africa School of Shipping, Gertrude Ohenye-Sienin, people working in the maritime industry must become abreast with local and international laws, conventions and practices to be able to perform at a competitive level.
We are encouraging organizations, individuals, that it is not enough to finish school and start working. You need to develop knowledge in the area in which you work. And things change every day. And so you need to be abreast with international regulations, local regulations, what is new, what has been added, what has been amended, so that you are always on top of your game.
She was speaking on the sidelines of an end-to-end shipping logistics coordination and management training program at the West Africa School of Shipping in Tema. The participants, pulled from various subsectors and companies in the maritime industry, got the opportunity to discuss practical issues in shipping and logistics, including risk and trade disruptions and how to strategize and mitigate them.
So basically, this is what we spoke about today. How do we organize logistics from origin to destination and avoid bottlenecks? Problems can happen. What will be your contingency plan when it happens? So these are things that sometimes we take for granted.
Some of the participants shared their experience.
As somebody who is into the port and shipping industry, it's a dynamic environment which will require that you constantly appraise yourself with what is happening globally. So I saw this course, a very important course, to understand the most current trends that is happening globally and how I can improve upon what I'm doing and how I can use the course, what I've learned, to improve upon health sector supply chains.
I recommend the West African Shipping School to everybody outside there. It's a nice program.
So how would you say continuous training has contributed to the growth and competitiveness of institutions in the maritime industry in our country?
It's a lot. Basically, companies that do very well and grow from generation to generation are those who've taken keen interest in developing the skills, the capacity, and the know-how of their personnel, as well as the company itself growing.
Right.
Currently, for instance, the world is looking at ESG, environmental, social, governance impact.
Right.
There is technological advancement, automation, cloud-based systems. Where are you in that? If you are a local company and you are still using the old methods of doing things, paperwork, it will be difficult for any international company to do business with you.
Yeah.
So it means that you are not looking at expansion. You are not looking at growth.
Yes.
You are not looking at development. And these are bottlenecks and that is why most Ghanaian businesses die after their owners, because everything is in the pocket of one person. And without that person, nothing else moves, because somebody has been doing something for 10 years.
Yes.
And they are still doing the same thing. Sitting at one place, doing the same thing meticulously for 10 years. It brings burnout, fatigue, monotony. There's no excitement any longer to do what you do. What about taking developing your skill in something different to add to what you already know, to make you more versatile, to be able to change roles even within the organization. You can be in the same organization but change roles. What about updating your knowledge to be able to be able to understand even what happens in other departments? I find it very strange, for instance, when students are in my class, and I ask them, for instance, they work with the Maritime Authority, and I say, what's the simple process for registering a ship? And they said, I don't know. You work in the organization, so were you not introduced to all the departments? And were you not given an orientation when you started work? Does that not mean that the most simple thing about something like registering of a ship as an employee of an organization, that is one of the major things you do? You cannot tell somebody the process, then you are not going anywhere. So these are things you need to develop. And that comes, it's an effort that you put in to add more knowledge to what you already do. So to be versatile, I remember when I started.
Okay, I think this.
Entered into the maritime industry. The company that employed me, one of the things they said was that you need to enroll at the Regional Maritime University and do the Ports and Shipping Administration course. So we were actually the first batch that started that department.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And in addition to that, we were supposed to take a course in French.
Right.
And in addition to that, they introduced us to the Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers exams.
Right.
The reason was that they had some partners in Belgium, and they wanted them to know that their staff were very professional. And how do you become professional? You have to belong to a membership organization and to be able to keep your knowledge abreast with what is happening. And at the time, I thought, what the hell, one employment? How can we go through all of this? I didn't know how that was going to benefit me at the time. But today, I'm so proud of that company that introduced me to all of these, because that was the necessary step that I needed to enter into the maritime industry. And at the time when I was taking the ICS course, I didn't know what it was going to do for me. About 8 years down the line, I found myself with an international company looking for somebody to do shipbrokering. And the answer I got when I entered into the interview room was that, Madam, since morning we've been here. If we saw somebody with your CV, we would have ended the interview a long time ago. So that was 8 years after. And then I saw the benefit of that. And so learning is one thing that is never wasted. No matter what you learn in or invest in. And so we should begin to look at making our companies and ourselves dynamic. And learning includes developing as a person. That is why we even say that there is wisdom in those who have gray hair. Because by the time you get gray hair, you've gone through some challenges, made some mistakes,
learned from those mistakes.
Relearn and unlearn. And so you've developed to a point that you can be in a position to be able to tell somebody about your life. So that is what we are pushing, that it is not enough to start a business. It is not enough to employ. And as a person, it is not enough to get a university degree or any other qualification and stay where you are. Otherwise, at a point, you become irrelevant. And then people then start complaining. I've been here for a long time. Why is it that the young ones are coming and they are being promoted and I'm not being promoted? What effort have you taken to develop yourself? It's a key question.
That's true. All right, so let me find out from you, apart from the quest of the individual or the ability of the individual to take up that quest to go for further training in terms of CPD, what role do organizations themselves have to play? Yes, we have some organizations that have training departments and they are solely responsible for some of these things. There are others that do not have training departments. But I think that the companies themselves should be able to identify the needs of their staff every year in terms of CPDs. What role do they have to play in this?
That's why organizations need to do an assessment of their staff.
Yeah.
So you've put somebody in an operations role. What are the training needs the person needs to be able to develop and work efficiently in that role? So then you have to come up with the training program that will help the person grow. For instance, you can be employed as the CEO of a company.
Right.
So do you need training in leadership skills, communication skills,
Right.
presentation skills? Up until now, if you see people's PowerPoint presentation, you'll be amazed. So verbose. PowerPoint is not supposed to be. It's different when you're giving it as a lecture notes. But in a presentation, it's not supposed to be a verbose kind of presentation.
Yeah.
What are your audience? Who are you going to present it to? How would you present it in such a way that they'll be able to... These are all things that you take courses for. Recently, I'm enrolled on a tallow supplier development program.
Yes.
And on that program, there is a program on cyber security, for instance. So now I don't put my Bluetooth on because I learned about the risk of putting on your Bluetooth. That's
on your phone.
On your phone.
Right.
You know, so these are things that you learn. Learning is, that's why I'm saying it's a continuous. There's a program on it on procurement. Companies have fallen into trouble just by not following the right, let's say, supplier due diligence procedure.
Yeah.
And some of international regulations are have indirect implications. We had a company going down years ago in Ghana where most of their customers around the world suffered penalties under the U.S. Anti-Bribery and Corruption Act.
Right.
Simply because they had not signed on to say that, okay, we according to our ethics and governance, we do not subscribe to any corruption practices and others. That simple process of doing due diligence and signing something to exonerate yourself, your board, your employees, goes a long way. It would have saved them huge fines. But these companies had to pay the fines, although it was an indirect thing, not a direct regulation in where they were operating. So the organization has a lot of role to play. To be able to assess the needs of so where do you want to go? What is your strategic plan? Where are you moving towards? And what are the skill set you need to be able to get to where you want to go? That is something that you have to do an analysis of. Right. And then come up with training programs that will take your employees there. Right. By them getting there, the company is getting there and far more. And so it's important. It's that the training budgets shouldn't be the last thing on the planning skill, and then the first thing to be taken out if you are cutting out on budget. Yeah, sure. Definitely in a year, your employees need to do something. I can give you some examples. Yes. There were crew members who were traveling, and they got to an airport, and somebody had suffered a heart attack. It was one crew member who saved the person at the airport. Why? They had gone through first aid training. Right. And by that, they could immediately administer CPU and be able to resuscitate the person. That is CPD. It's not their core mandate to be able to administer first aid. Yes. So what kind of training are you giving to your staff? First aid, firefighting. Yeah. I mean, there are so many of them when we talk about CPD points. So we're not just looking at technical know-how, scientific know-how. It's also about personal development. Right. It's also about other soft skills that can help you to be holistic. Right. So it's a holistic approach to growth and development.
Right.
So viewers, after watching this discussion, we hope a number of you would consider committing to a course or two in the new year to sharpen your skills as you perform your duties in the maritime industry. Now let us pick a few comments on the subject we have just discussed after we go on break, and then we'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Araba from Tema. Very good delivery by Madam Gertrude. Always a pleasure seeing her teach.
Ohima, no be taking number first. By you. You tell me say take the number give me.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I dey come.
Shut up!
Mame, feel me can't number what? Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Ron 95.
Fill up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for mommy.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Goyle is good energy. Electricity. Then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water, or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the IC covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
Welcome back from the break, viewers. Now let us pick a few stories from our local port and maritime sector. The Association of Customs House Agents Ghana has held its third annual general meeting. ACHAG has a national objective of ensuring maximum revenue mobilization to the state through education of its members. The AGM was under the theme Doing Business at the Port in the Face of Current Economic Challenges. The outgoing president of ACHAG, Yao Che, said there was the need for government to address the high cost of doing business at the port, which may result in high inflation, smuggling, and reduction in purchasing power of importers and exporters, among others.
Others also use neighboring countries to smuggle in goods at very low costs and outsmart those who use legitimate means. Madam Chairperson, guest speakers, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, in the midst of all these difficulties, the association has done marvelously well in terms of customs compliance, training programs, advocacy, and influencing both port operational and procedural systems.
The Deputy Marketing and Corporate Affairs Manager at GPHA, Nanesi Soderberg, who represented the Director General of GPHA, Michael Lugoje, called for strategic partnerships and collaborations, which he noted are critical to building business resilience and surmounting some of the challenges faced in doing business through the ports.
Indeed, partnered efforts and collaboration enable benefits such as integrated development across the port's logistics and clearance chain. It enables potential cost reduction, which everybody needs, through the alignment of our operations and our goals. It also enables critical and constructive feedback for improvement of our mutual activities. It provides a platform for a focused voice and vision where we can together work to implement these things. It also gives us robust communication channels amongst many other benefits.
There were solidarity messages from some stakeholders in the maritime industry.
Your diligence, integrity, and efficiency directly influence the effectiveness of revenue collection at our ports. By upholding high standards of professionalism and compliance, you contribute significantly to the economic stability and growth of our nation.
Your dedication and tireless efforts in facilitating international trade have significantly contributed to the growth of our nation's economy, and for that, I commend you all. As we gather here today, I'm acutely aware of the pivotal role that Custom House agents play in ensuring the smooth flow of goods across borders. Your professionalism and commitment to excellence and the driving force behind the efficiency of our trade processes at the Tema ports and across the country.
Speaking at the event, a Deputy Minister for Transport, Alassane Tampoli, disclosed that a committee has been constituted under the Economic Management Team with the responsibility to make recommendations on how to reduce cost of doing business at the ports. This, he noted, only goes to demonstrate the commitment of government to creating the enabling environment for port business to thrive, as well as solidify government's reputation as a listening government, having listened to concerns of various stakeholders in the port's value chain.
It is therefore imperative that we strive to drive improvements within the ports to reduce transaction costs, facilitate trade, and position our ports as a hub for the West African sub-region, particularly within the context of AFTA, African Continental Free Trade Area. It is for this reason, among other reasons, that government is investing in port infrastructure to facilitate the industrialization of the country, as the ports are integral link within the maritime supply chain link.
The AGM saw the election of the Vice President of ACHAG, Akwesi Srebo Boateng, elected as the new president.
The Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, Samson Asaki, says that businesses are bracing themselves up for new opportunities and advancements that will reshape industries and drive unprecedented growth in 2024. Speaking in an interview with Iron Pot, he called on governments to reflect on existing taxes as they pose a threat for the sustainability of businesses in the country. According to him, duties at the port and VAT on goods all culminate into the high cost of doing business in the country.
We are interested to know what they are going to put in their manifestos. So far as taxes and other government fiscal policies are concerned, we look forward to see what will they do to control cedi depreciation, what will they do to control inflation, what will they do to control interest rates, because, and of course, who would assure us that whatever election that comes, at the end of the day, they will accept the verdict and we will have peace, political stability, and then business environment friendly.
He attributed the issue of under-declaring by some importers to the high cost of taxes and duties, adding that compliance level would be high if taxes were lower and fair.
Why do they under-declare? If you take sub-region, you realize Ghana is the highest so far as paying taxes and fees and charges. After paying taxes and fees and charges, we also have issues with the shipping lines, local handling charges, that no government, because at least as I came to do advocacy in 2014, I met President Mahama government and I met President Akufo-Addo government. None of them don't have interest to say we are going to sit with the Traders Association, especially when the Importing and Export Association keep on raising issues in regards to shipping lines, local handling charges that they pay at the port.
As the country prepares to go to the polls in December 2024, he called on political parties to include in their manifestos policies that would address the cedi depreciation, inflation, and high interest rates in order to create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive.
Let us now turn our attention to the global stage and pick a few international shipping and maritime related news.
Danish shipping and logistics major AP Moller Maersk AS has decided to initiate the separation of its towage and marine services activities in Vitsa AS through a demerger. Vitsa, which has 430 vessels operating in 140 plus ports and 25 plus oil and gas terminals globally, has been part of the Maersk group of companies for more than 40 years. As part of the demerger, the shares in Vitsa AS and its subsidiaries, as well as certain other related assets and liabilities, will be contributed by AP Moller Maersk to a new legal entity under the name of Vitsa Group AS. Japan's Kobe Osaka International Port Corporation is launching an initiative to showcase the operational prowess of hydrogen-fueled cargo handling machinery, marking a global first in converting a rubber-tied gantry crane's diesel engine generator to a hydrogen engine generator. The project is commissioned by the Kinki Regional Development Bureau of the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism in cooperation with the Port and Harbour Bureau, Kobe City Government. It will take place at the Kobe International Container Terminal, managed by Mystery OSK Lines at the Port of Hanshin.
It's now time for our Word of the Day segment, where we introduce words, phrases, jargons, abbreviations, terminologies that we often use in this industry so you can get familiar with them. Today, we'll let you know what we mean when we say a vessel is ashore.
A vessel that is ashore is a vessel that is on the beach, shore, or land.
Let us now take a look at the schedule of vessels that have berth in the ports of Tema and Takoradi, and at the anchorages of both ports, as well as those expected in the coming weeks, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rates, which you may need to know to clear your cargo with. This is where we draw the curtain on today's edition of Iron Port. We hope you've been informed and educated. Remember, all Iron Port content can be found on our YouTube channel, Iron Port. Subscribe, like, and give us feedback. Thank you for watching.